Today, I'm going to share my experience in my previous pregnancies, why I haven't officially announced my current pregnancy, what's been holding me back, but also looking back in my previous experiences, what I would do differently if I had the chance. 3 different things that I would absolutely embrace and fully commit to. And so with that, I'm going into this chapter, my 3rd trimester, a little differently, and what has helped me to do that. So I hope that this helps to inspire you, not just if you've ever experienced pregnancy or not. It's also about bringing any kind of new idea or new thing into the world. If you're ready to start your business, if you're ready to create that product, write a book, whatever that new thing is, whatever that miracle is for you, hopefully these 3 things at the end of my story will help encourage you to take the next steps, but also to just share a glimpse into my personal experience and what that looks like. I hope that this helps. Again, hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you think, how you feel, and I'd love to get that conversation going. Let's go ahead and take a listen. Life is full of surprises, excitement, joy, and struggles, but you don't have to do any of it alone. Welcome to the Inspired Love, Life, and Business podcast. My name is Minden, mama to almost 3 incredible children. I'm a major cheerleader and contributor to my tribe, and I'm a lover of all things positive, creative, and inspiring. I love the 3s too, as you can imagine. Join me as I discover and share new and powerful ways to be inspired through stories of hope, courage, and love. We'll get to know some amazing people in my circle and have conversations with powerful, dominating in their fields and specialties. And I can't promise that you're going to leave without shedding a tear or feeling so ready to start living the life of your dreams. All right, are you ready? Let's get inspired. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Inspired Love, Life, and Business podcast. If this is your first time here, my name is Minden, and I help overwhelmed mommypreneurs to master their mindset and lift limitations around freedom, time, energy, and money to achieve confidence, clarity, and consistency in love, life, and business. All of these things that make our world go round and how we can help others to achieve the same if we can embrace that essence in ourselves. So today I'm going to talk about something that's been on my heart that I have not shared with very many people, if anyone at all, to be honest. And it is a tough subject. It's something that I've had to think about and sit on for the last few years, especially considering my daughter is almost 10 years old. It's been a while. I've had some time to process it. And now that I am on my 3rd bun in the oven, who will be arriving here in a few months, I feel like it's the right time to share this story. It's the right time to speak on why I have not made an official announcement about this sweet little baby that I'm growing in my belly. And I'm going to share with you 3 things that I've learned in this process as I share my experience with why this announcement has not come to light. I shared with one person here recently who I recorded a podcast with, and it was one of those moments where you finally let it go, it's out, and now you feel a little bit of release to be able to share more of what it involves. And so if you've ever had the feeling of the need to hide or the need to suppress the way that you feel who you are, your magnificence, and your energy in any given moment, time, or space, any situation, I feel like you can resonate with this. So I'll share my experience and then I'll share what I learned from that experience. So throughout my life, my relationships have been one that I have never been fully able to comprehend. I say one, but relationships in general. Most of the relationships I've been in have been a struggle because I've never fully understood myself. I didn't take the time growing up to really explore who I was, what I wanted out of life, what brought me joy, and how to really create more of that joy and sit within that joy and embrace all of what life has to offer. A lot of my life was spent pleasing my family, my parents, my peers, my teachers, because I really truly thought that the way to bring about happiness is to make others happy. And absolutely, it's really important to make other people happy. But if it's at the expense of your happiness, that is not the way to go about it. You are the only person who can live your life. You are the only person who can be you, who can bring you into the world. Other people can help to enhance who you are. Absolutely. And you can help to enhance others. But again, if you're suppressing who you are and what feels right to you and what feels good in using your voice and sharing what you have to offer the world, then you're not doing anyone any kind of service. So with that intro into this, I will share that the relationships that I've had with men, with my family, and with myself have all been built with a wall. The wall meaning there was something that I put up mentally to say, I can't go past these certain points. I can't share these certain things because I'm not really sure how the other person will respond. I'm not sure how I'll respond if I can handle what happens after that. Will I still love myself? Will I learn to love myself? Will this person still love me? Will they still understand me? And will they care enough to explore more as to how I feel? So with those questions in mind, I never really fully got to build a deep, meaningful relationship with most of the people in my life. So when I got pregnant with my current daughter, it was in a tumultuous relationship. It was in a relationship that was on and off and on and off. That was absolutely really unhealthy for me. But I didn't know how to really leave that. I didn't know how to leave that relationship. I had so much pride and so much ego being a part of that relationship because everyone around me was telling me that it wasn't healthy for me. And I needed to understand more about myself and this other person before I take those big steps. And for me, regardless of what I went through during that relationship, it was kind of like, I can't prove them wrong. And this can be right. And it can be good if I force it to happen, if I make it happen, if I don't share any of the bad things, no one will know any of the situations that are going down. I'll keep it all to myself. I'll be fine. And I'll prove to them that it's going to be okay. And at this stage, I was in my early 20s. And even looking back now, it's like I feel like I've traveled through decades in terms of what I've learned in growth, how to use my voice, how to share the things that I feel and how to communicate them in a way that makes sense for me and to promote growth for me and the other people that I'm involved with, how to grow those relationships instead of suppressing my feelings and hiding who I really wanted to be. So first pregnancy, I broke the news to my family and it was not good. It was a very scary moment. It was tough and it was very shocking for everyone, definitely shocking for me. But at that time, I had already hit my mid-20s. I felt ready for my child. I was very elated about being pregnant and bringing a new life into the world. What I was not ready for was to do that with a person that I was in partnership with. And for me, again, the ego and the just selfishness in I can do this. I don't need anybody else. I can do this on my own. I will raise her. She's going to be a beautiful child. She's going to be wonderful. And once everyone meets her and sees how well we thrive, they're going to celebrate us. So with all of that said, it still was a pregnancy that was not in marriage, that was not expected, that wasn't planned. And so with everything surrounded that, yes, I was elated. Yes, I had ego surrounding it, but it was not enough for me to be thrilled and share with the world, hey, this is what's happening. I'm enjoying this pregnancy. I'm enjoying this whole process. I didn't take pictures. I didn't share the happy news with everyone in my life because part of me was ashamed. I was being shamed. I felt ashamed. And I couldn't fully embrace the joy of being pregnant. And that not only goes with the fact that I wasn't married, it was also my culture, and the marriage has a huge part to do with it, but then the relationship. So there were so many things surrounding this pregnancy that brought negativity to it. So I never shared it. I didn't celebrate it the way that it deserved to be celebrated. I didn't celebrate her the way that she deserved to be celebrated. So in my next pregnancy, it was with a much brighter relationship in terms of who we were and how we knew each other. But again, it was something that I wanted to do, a path that I wanted to take, not following what everyone else wanted of me in terms of who I should be with, someone who is in this career field or has this level of success. I followed my heart. That's what I did, and that's what I do. And so second pregnancy, again, rough patches within our relationship, as with any relationship. But again, no marriage yet. And regardless of what anyone thinks or feels about being married, not being married, that's not the conversation we're having here. I truly value what everyone else feels. If you feel like you should be married, if you feel like you shouldn't, there are plenty of successful relationships that doesn't involve marriage. There are plenty of successful relationships that do involve marriage. But personally, I don't think marriage is the one thing that will tie you to another person forever, or the one thing that fully commits you to them for life. So for me and my partner, it is about how you understand each other, how you communicate, how you show love, how you grow together, and how you get through the tough things. With that being said, second pregnancy, and it was another one of those unexpected situations where, again, all of the social expectations had not been met. So I wasn't able to celebrate that pregnancy either. And again, that's on me. That is a personal mental thing, a mental state, because I can still step out of it and do what I want, follow my heart and celebrate the way that I want to, the way that I choose to. But this was before the growth mentally and internally that I've experienced here in the last several years, the last recent years in growing my business and learning more about my personal value and all of that. So going back to that, I did not celebrate it. You'll not find many pictures of me being pregnant because I was ashamed. I was. And my son will be 5 years old here in another half a year. So it'll be soon. So that means that this transformation, this growth didn't happen very long ago. But the impact that it created once it happened and I made the transition into personal growth and recognizing my value and my worth and who I am in this world is hugely transformative, not just for my life, but for everyone around me. So after that pregnancy and having my second child, after a few years, we were ready. And it wasn't a full-on plan. We didn't say, oh, this is when it's going to happen. But we got pregnant again. And this time it was very different in that life situations really put a lot of pressure on us. And it caused a lot of chaos emotionally. And I was not mentally ready to bring a child into this world. I was really struggling with whether or not this was the right thing to do. Regardless, it was going to happen. The idea and the thought of moving on with or without the baby was not the case. I wanted to have this child, but I feel like the world wanted something different because I wasn't 1,000% ready and open and available and bringing light and joy into the situation. And so with that, at 8 weeks, I started to experience things that I didn't experience in my previous pregnancies. And the moment that I noticed that it happened started with, now for anyone who may not want to go into the details of female functions and what happens during a pregnancy or whatever it is, here's your warning to hop off. But I started spotting, which was not normal. I'd never experienced that before. My previous pregnancies have been really wonderful in terms of the process. Everything happened as it should. So when I noticed that happened, I called my doctor and asked if I could come in. And this was a new doctor that I hadn't been to before. And the receptionist basically said, no, I can't get you in for another week and a half. And there was really no concern or care in the world about me calling in, about me spotting. And it wasn't a big deal for her. She wasn't concerned. And I said, okay, I mean, I know my body. I know this is very strange and that this shouldn't be happening because it has never happened before. Long story short, I experienced a miscarriage within about 18 hours. The process that started went through to the entire process of elimination, not the entire, but the majority of the process of elimination of the child from my body, of the baby, the fetus. And it was one of the most physically painful experiences that I have ever had in my life. When I was doing the research on what a miscarriage looks like, what it feels like, what I've heard previously from my friends who have experienced it, the things that I read, none of that reflected the type of physical pain you'd go through. I knew obviously that it was emotionally charged. You would feel a lot of different things in terms of emotionally and just all of the mindset and the loss. But I had no idea it was going to be so painful, that it was going to take as long as it did. And that entire experience for me was something that I might even remember more than bringing my children into the world. And the reason why is because when it happened, first of all, I had no idea. Again, I wasn't prepared. For pregnancies, you have, bringing a child into the world, you have months to prepare. You're meeting with your doctor every month, and then every 2 weeks, you're constantly having that conversation. You're preparing, you know what to expect, like almost exactly what to expect, what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like, who's going to be there to support you, the tools and all of that. Everything is out there to support you in having a baby. But the guidance and the honesty behind losing a child and it not going to term is not fully there. And I'm not blaming anyone for that. That's everyone else's personal stories and their personal comforts. But I lacked that information and that knowledge. So I went into this miscarriage unprepared. We went to the hospital at around midnight that night because the pain was intolerable and I could not handle it anymore. By the time we got to the hospital, I was laying there for a good 4 minutes. 4 hours. I was there for 4 hours, screaming and crying in pain as I experienced contractions, as my body is helping to this baby to exit my body, and I'm getting testing done and all of this. And And I don't know the proper procedures behind pain elimination and how to properly process miscarriages and all of that. I wasn't knowledgeable then. The only thing I really knew was when you get to a hospital, their priority is to get rid of your pain. And that wasn't happening for me. As they did all of this testing and everything, I never received any pain medication. I never received anything to support with the pain, besides for having my partner at my side, who was very encouraging and supportive and held my hands, of course, and listened to me cry and scream and just ache about what's happening besides for just the turmoil of losing a child, the physical pain that I was getting through, so much more so than actually having my previous 2 children, which to me was just crazy that I wasn't knowledgeable on this. Again, it is not a situation that is very often talked about, but also you don't really do research on that, because it's not something you expect. I was 33 years old then. It was last year. And so it just all came in a really unexpected way. I was very unprepared. And at this point, my family didn't know that I was pregnant. I hadn't announced it. I hadn't told anybody yet because I wasn't ready for that. At 8 weeks, I wasn't showing. So I didn't feel like there was a need just yet. So after all of this occurred, I obviously could not go into work and commit my obligations for that following day because we didn't leave the hospital until 6 a.m. that morning. And it was confirmed that I no longer was carrying a child. And so the way that the situation was handled mentally and physically was just something I wasn't prepared for. That's the best way to put it. However, that situation and to me, that tragedy really brought a new light into my relationship with my partner, into the way that I appreciated my current children and how much light and love they provide and how much I can give back to them, because I didn't know then if I was going to be able to carry another child or have another child. And I wanted to give more than all of myself to who I currently had in my life and the children that I could love and hold in my arms and carry through the day and be there for them in the best way that I knew how. And because of all of that, it made this current pregnancy so hard to walk through, to acknowledge, to celebrate, to really embrace. And it's so interesting because I still share my pregnancy. I'll still talk about it, but I haven't done the official, because I'm on social media so much, it's kind of expected. And people will ask, and it's kind of awkward for them. Oh, are you pregnant? I didn't know all of this. And I'll go back without saying, I haven't announced it. It's okay. No big deal. Yes, I am. And the difference between this pregnancy and the previous ones, so many different feelings. I've gone through so much since the first one that now I'm just like, oh, what do I do? How do I announce this? I know that personally, I've been working so hard in a good way. And when I say working so hard, it's with so much love, not so much pressure, but I've been wanting life changes in so many positive ways, working to be more consistent, working to show up and to improve myself in more ways than just one. I launched my YouTube channel, my podcast. I'm really consistent in sharing my story and inspiration on social media, again, to fit my goals and aspirations of inspiring others to get out of the life of overwhelm and starting and creating the life that you really truly love, getting clarity and consistency and just all of that. And it's been beautiful. It's been lovely. And the moment is here. The moment is now. I've felt, like I said, this is the right time to share that story and share the truth behind why I haven't been able to make that announcement. I didn't know the right way. I am overjoyed in so many ways. But it's like, how do I do this right? How do I do this in a way that can truly treasure my current celebration, treasure the previous child that we weren't able to welcome into the world, to treasure my current children? And I think just continuing to be a positive presence, continuing to work on myself, continuing to improve my life and the lives of people who I can help is the best way that I can do that. And with that being said, I am so honored and so privileged to be able to carry another child into this world and have an impact on how this child is going to make any kind of difference in the way that he chooses. And I feel nothing but joy and pleasure in how he's going to impact his brother and sister, how he's going to impact me, his mommy and his daddy, and his grandparents, and everyone else that he comes into contact with. And the joy behind that, I don't think can properly be addressed in one post, one video, or anything, because I still very much feel like children are miracles. And that also makes me connect to the fact that we ourselves are miracles. Right? At no point do we come into the world and then hit adulthood or hit a point in our lives, a moment, a season, and then all of a sudden the miracle is lost. We are still wonderful and beautiful, miraculous creatures. And so what are we doing to use our gifts, our presence, our lives to fully embrace our genius and be able to make the impact that we were meant to make? So many people exit this world without knowing because they've never tried, but we get reminders regularly, right? And if you're listening, here's your reminder. What is it that you can do so well that can help others and inspire them to change their lives? And whatever it is, you may not know it in this moment, but if you don't go out and experiment and try, you'll never know. I've been seeing a lot lately, trying and showing up even in the wrong way is making more of an impact than hiding and not showing up at all. So you can do a little bit and explore and find out a little more and get closer to where you want to be. Or you can not try and you can completely hide and never make it there. And so I would love to share the things that I've learned throughout this experience and the last almost decade of going through these experiences and what I would do differently if I were given the opportunity. I would, one, document. I would absolutely document every part of that, of my experiences. And I considered so much documenting my miscarriage, but I was not ready. I was so hurt. I was already in hiding, actually. And so taking that step seemed so huge. But looking back, I know that I could have helped so many others between then and now. Maybe just even that one person who needed it. And so if I look back in preparation or if I had that opportunity, that's what I would change. So document. There's absolutely document. Even if you're just writing in a journal, you can look back and see and feel and understand what it was like going through those experiences then, and it's easier to interpret now in a different light. So document for sure, always. And even if you're not experiencing a miscarriage, document your life, document each day, write in a journal. It's as easy as writing in a journal, but if you can pull up a video, and even if you're talking to yourself, it's so powerful to look back and see the growth that you've experienced, but then also to take those moments and share it with others when you see the opportunity to, because again, you can help so many many other people. So that was the first thing, is document. The second thing is to celebrate. Remember to celebrate you and to celebrate all of these joyous moments. And even in the hard times, what can we pull from there to celebrate? What have we learned? How are we moving on that we can celebrate? What can we do differently next time that we can celebrate? For me, I can celebrate the fact that it brought myself and my partner closer together. I can celebrate the fact that knowing how this is happening and how it's going to turn out, I can be better prepared in the event that this ever happens again. And I can be there to support other people who might need me because I've been there. Because it's really different to have experienced something than to be able to pat someone on the back and say, oh, I don't understand, but I'm here for you. Those are two very different things. It's different when you've actually sat in that experience. Not to take away from you wanting to support someone who you haven't actually had that experience with. Of course, that's meaningful, but it is different when you've actually experienced it yourself. So celebrate, find the moments and the seasons and the reasons to celebrate, and go all in and enjoy that process and finding the positivity and the light in the moments that you can. All right. So then the third thing is following your intuition. And when I say that, I mean, if it's something that brings you joy that other people might not find joy in, or they can't celebrate it, or they can't understand why you are happy, do it anyway. Have that baby shower, enjoy that book, sing that song, follow your intuition, and do what feels right for you in that moment. And if following your intuition means documenting and celebrating when others aren't because they don't know how yet, do it. You're never going to look back and regret following your intuition. You're not going to look back and say, my goodness, why did I celebrate that? That was stupid. I can't recall ever doing that. I don't think I've ever told any or heard anyone tell a story of regretting a celebration. So document, celebrate, follow your intuition, do what you feel is right, so that you don't have to look back and say, what if, or I wish, right? So those are the things that I would do looking back over the years of the different experiences that I've had with my pregnancy. But it's not just that. It carries through to the business that I started up, and things evolved and things grew. And every passing moment, as every goal we reached becomes a bigger one, those moments needed to be celebrated as well. And I did some celebrating, but not enough to share with everyone. I think it's very different to celebrate internally. It's another thing to celebrate out loud and let others know. Because again, it goes back to you are being inspiring, you are being a light, and it's good for others to know, hey, it's okay to celebrate. It's okay to be you. It's okay that you experience these wins. So I hope that that was helpful to you in some way. I hope that no matter what it is that you go through in life, you're able to look back and view it with a positive lens and pick things out of it that will help you to create a more meaningful and more beautiful life, even if you don't have to experience pregnancy or you choose not to experience pregnancy. It's giving birth to anything new, giving birth to a new idea, giving birth to a new experience, taking part in a new experience. All of that still pertains to bringing life into the world. You're giving life to an idea. You're giving life to an action. You're giving life to a new you. And all of that is so powerful. So how are you embracing the ability to do that? How are you taking the miracle of who you are and embracing all of the possibilities that some others might not be able to experience? Make the most of what you have today. Use all of your resources, document, celebrate, and follow your intuition and find what you were absolutely meant for. Don't stay in your zone of excellence. Find your zone of genius. I am absolutely taking this idea from Gay Hendricks from the book, The Big Leap. I absolutely love it. It helped transform me in a time in my life where I thought I was stunted in business, and it helped me to push through so many limiting beliefs and struggles. And that's a conversation for another day. But take that big leap, find your zone of genius, and discover yourself so that you can shine your light into the world and make the difference you were meant to make. Again, my name is Ninh Din, and I help overwhelmed mommypreneurs to master their mindset and lift limitations around freedom, time, energy, and money to achieve confidence, clarity, and consistency in love, life, and business. So if any of this was helpful, please tell a friend, subscribe to my podcast so that you get the notification every week. And you can also find me on YouTube if you would like to watch the video version of this podcast. I so appreciate you. I would love to keep the conversation going. So find me on social media. YouTube is included. And I'd love to hear about your experiences, your stories of growth, how you are embracing yourself as a miracle and making your changes in the world and living your best life. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me for another powerful conversation on all things positive, inspiring, enlightening, and powerful in relation to love, life, and business. I hope that you took something really important away from this conversation. Maybe you'll be able to take some action. But if you're not ready to end the conversation here, don't forget you can always join me on social media. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube at Inspired Lolibu. That's Inspired Lolibu for love, life, and business. Thank you so much again for listening. I so appreciate your support, and I'd love to know your thoughts and comments. Leave them below or send me an email at Ninh, N-H-I-E-N, at rainbowreveal.com. I will read every single email that comes in, and I am always on social in my comment section and replying and showing love. Again, like I always say to my community and to my tribe, I love and support each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here and supporting me. We'll see you next time.